Well, I think Crittenton got mad at him because, Crittenton agreed to front the money, and then it seemed like Gilbert almost immediately was waffling on making Crittenton whole. That's the way, that's the read that I have on the thing.
So, and by the way, we should mention this is all conjecture.
Speculation.
We're all speculating. I think, Joe, this is legal for us to speculate on what might have happened, right?
We'll find out in post.
All right. Well, whenever the guns got in there, we can all agree he put the guns on either a chair or the stool or whatever in front of him and told Crittenton to pick one to shoot his knee. Well, Crittenton did not think this was funny.
The account that I saw suggested there was a note, that he put a note, the guns and a note, that Crittenton was not in the locker room when Gilbert, initiated the prank, but then Crittenton came in later, saw the guns and the note, and grew enraged at the gesture.
And here's where it becomes a problem. Because now you have one guy who's enraged at another guy, their teammates, and there are 3 guns between them.
I think that's a problem.
That's a problem. And, and the Post got the story wrong. They said that they drew guns on each other, which, as we're finding out, was not true.
The New York Post.
The New York Post, and now when they write about it, they do not write anymore that they drew guns on each other.
Well,
which is unfair.
It's unfair. I mean, that's the mini rant that I shared with you, and a couple times we've chatted over the weekend about this. The story that hit every newswire in the country on January the 1st was players draw guns on one another. And in fact, as part of that New York Post story, they elicited a comment from Billy Hunter about players pulling guns on each other.
And he was shocked.
I find that so irresponsible, but I guess, in this sort of day and age where there's no sort of media accountability anymore, the best you can hope for is that somebody sues somebody to try and get the record straight, but it doesn't seem like much of a threat. But I mean, the whole country heard NBA guys pull guns on one another, and that's just a lie. It's not true.
And then in this era, you have the blogs and you have Twitter, so everybody's got to weigh in or have their little joke. My joke was that this is my favorite duel since Hamilton and Burr, or something like that.
Joke,
yeah, it was a good one. Solid joke, historical joke.
That's right.
I forget what else I wrote, but everybody had their take, and like, it reminded me a little bit of when the Cowboys, when they had the White House.
Yes.
When they were accused of like just gang raping strippers or whatever it was, and it was front page Cowboys rape White House, and then, a few months later it turned out not to be true, and it runs on page 8.
Right.
Hey, that wasn't true. But meanwhile, half the people still think it's true because they read it once upon a time. If you're a Wizards fan, the key part to all this is you get to void his contract.
Well, and that's
you get to start over.
That's the most sort of prominent mixed feeling, mixed emotion element to all this. I'm kind of put in this awkward position of maybe rooting for a bad thing to come to befall Gilbert because of this.
Why maybe? You get to basically reinvent your franchise. He makes $22 million a year. It's the worst contract in the league. I would say it's the number one untradeable contract in basketball because of the duration and the price tag.
I just want to have one quick mini rant on that proposition, which is how can this franchise do that twice to me in 15 years? How can one franchise in 15 years twice have the single worst contract in the whole league? Because their Juwan Howard contract was widely regarded as the single worst contract in the league. Indefensible, an albatross around a team's neck. It stymied their ability to do anything for 3 or 4 years, and they repeat that very same mistake barely 10 years later. How is that possible?
The difference this time was that Gilbert had a bad knee, and they gave him all kinds of extra money anyway. Like he really had no leverage to get more than I think 80.
Well, they gave him
122.
That Golden State put an offer on the table of 107. I think that the historical record contains that, and the answer to that is bye bye. Good luck, my brother.
Take him.
Right. That was the answer. That was the easy answer then, and it remains even more sort of poignantly the right answer today.
So the key to the bullets.
Yeah.
Now the Wizards.
Yes.
Is whether Gilbert's gun had bullets in it. Ironically, bullets could save the bullets. When the cocaine thing really took off with the NBA and people started writing about it in the late 70s, early 80s, and I was researching my book, and there was some L.A. Times article, and the Hawks GM at the time, Stan Kasten, said that he estimated 75 to 80% of the players were using cocaine. And everybody was just stunned by that number. And then Buck Williams gave some sort of speech a couple months later, and he was like, that was such a ridiculous figure. There's no way it's more than 40% or something. It's like, but it's still 40%, Buck.
And they went down to get Zach for his interview with, I don't know who the GM at the time was, maybe even Rick Sund. And he was in the players' lounge watching SpongeBob SquarePants. And as they went in and said, okay, Mr. Sund's ready to meet with you, Zach Randall said, can he wait 15 minutes? And they were a little put back. He said, why? I haven't seen this episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. I want to finish it before I go up there for my job interview with the Sonics.
Wow. So there's no way we'll ever get to 30. We'll probably go the other way. We'll go to like 36.
Yeah, me and you seem to have a disagreement on this. I favor expansion. I think that people love professional sports. People love the NFL. There's players out there that could play. And, there are cities that deserve teams that don't have them. Every time you expand, it weakens the talent pool, but that's temporary. Because what happens is that eventually the talent resettles with all the teams, so the teams are really good again. So the talent ends up working out about the same. I know you don't feel it's been that way in the NBA, but it's always been that way in baseball and football.
Well, because the problem in the NBA is that your fortunes hinge too much on one guy,
right?
And
football and baseball are not like that. So while whenever you expand, you'll hear there aren't enough quarterbacks for all the teams, or there aren't enough pitchers for all the teams in baseball. Over a few years, it evens out. It doesn't work that way in basketball because of what you just said.
I got my buddy House, who's on the phone right now. House, you excited?
I'm extremely excited.
I thought you were sick.
I'm already. Well, I'm probable. I'll be over it.
You're in the injury report. It's probable.
Very probable.
Okay,
I'm telling you right now, I'm in.
Okay.
I've done a little bit of research. I have mapped out every Chick-fil-A on the route.
These guys picture like Warren Sapp. You ever see a cup on him?
Yeah, I guess.
Picture all those defensive interior linemen who are wearing no pads in their pants at all.
Yeah. Well, I would think when you get older, as things start to sag, that's when you would need a cup. Like, I feel like I need a cup all the time, 24 hours a day. I wouldn't mind wearing one.
Listen, it couldn't hurt. I think would be the point. But my grandfather once, who was from Hungary, so maybe they did things a little weird over there. But he said when guys would go out on like a Saturday night, they would get into fights. Like, they would drink and they would fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't the litigious society we're living in now.
Right.
Now you either get shot or you get sued or both, but you just don't get into a fight.
You don't just square up and have a little bare knuckle.
The guy would go to bars, start putting down some booze and square up,
Yeah.
And it said guys would wear cups.
Oh.
Guys go out on a Saturday night with like a cup because, by the way, a good shot in the nutsack would kill you back then.
Right.
They didn't have no microsurgery. They're not going to repair anything.
That's true. You bleed to death or internal bleeding.
Blood clot goes to your brain or something.
Do you think the Jersey Shore guys should have worn cups when they went out? Because you're getting into a fight once a weekend on the Jersey Shore. I mean,
listen, what's the worst that could happen? Some chick thinks you got a great package? You know what I mean? What's the worst that could happen? Everyone should just wear cups all the time. It's really, how kids wear helmets for everything now?
Yeah.
Like, you got a skateboard, you put on a helmet, you got a bicycle, you put on a helmet, you got a scooter, you put on a helmet. Well, we should just do that with cups.
Why wouldn't Jockey make some sort of underwear that also doubled as a cup?
Well, it's going to take? It's going to take one, high-profile guy, really like Tom Cruise, is going to have to be in like a celebrity softball game pitching, and a comebacker is just going to have to destroy him. And I mean, literally an explosion of testes and, whatever
testicular
else.
shrapnel.
And then he endorses a line and he starts talking about maybe we get Jordan and Charlie Sheen to do a commercial for it where he chases him around.
It's a little homoerotic, yeah.
A little, yeah.
Pete Townsend smashes his guitar at halftime. I thought it was a lock at plus 125. I'm not kidding.
You really did that?
My cousin Jimmy bet it. We're all in on it. I thought for sure Why wouldn't he? And he put it down. I don't know if you saw it. Not only didn't he smash it, he put it down so gently and delicately. It was like he was mocking us intentionally, the way he did it.
Do you know why he did that?
Why?
You know why he didn't do it? Because he's too freaking old. He couldn't even play the guitar. He was going to smash it. He couldn't even strum the keys.
That's what I was thinking. Afterwards, I'm like, wow, maybe he just can't lift it over his head like a test of strength at a carnival with a guy who lifts the hammer, and he's 93 years old. He can't.
I'm not even joking. I really think that's why he didn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, because why else wouldn't he have done it? Everyone was expecting it. It's his signature thing. Of course he was going to do it.
Yeah.
They were
And
awful.
the other thing, I bet, which is an abomination, the color of the Gatorade that's going to be dumped on the winning coach.
What?
I went with clear/water. Because I figure, now I'm like, a lot of these players are dumb, but they know that the coach has an interview to do afterwards and everything. He's got to make speeches. They're going to go with water. But no, orange Gatorade.
Oh, my God.
9-2 odds.
Come on.
I know.
That's like worse than betting on the coin flip.
No, it's better. Pretty colors involved. I know. I may have to go to a meeting or two.
So did you have the usual Sal sadness the day after?
Yeah, I did.
It always hurts.
There's no Pro Bowl now the week after, and it is kind of upsetting. It's a long time between games.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what I was thinking though, for the speaking of the Pro Bowl, the week before, what do you think of this? Because everyone hates the Pro Bowl, and there's that week before the Super Bowl. What about a consolation game? This year would be Vikings and Jets. Winner gets the loser's first round draft pick.
That'd be interesting. I don't think the Players Union would go for that.
You know what? You don't even tell them. You just do it on the fly.
The Players Union was really proactively Super Bowl week. They're on this whole PR campaign to butter up anybody with a platform. Basically, I think they've asked anybody who has a column or a blog that reaches more than 4,000 people, you get to have lunch with the PR guy.
Oh, really? Is that what you did?
No, I didn't. What do I want to go to lunch with the PR guy of the Players Union? I don't even care. I mean, it clearly seems like there's going to be a lockout. They're idiots.
Yeah.
So, and
but maybe he can have inside information next year on what color the Gatorade's going to be. That's what I go to lunch with.
Shoot, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
I know LeBron had 47 the other night. I thought that he crept closer with that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty tight. LeBron, Durant scored 25 or more, I think, in 23 straight games now, which is he's like getting close to records and stuff, right? Joe Meade? Isn't he approaching like some sort of Jordan record?
Probably.
He's good.
All right, I put my best rebound on the right side. I stand on the right side, and I'm intentionally going to whip it against the side of the rim and the backboard and hope it takes some weird bounce. It seems like there's a better way to do this.
Yeah, so you're not even talking shot. You're talking, hey, we have a plan, and it's going to ricochet off towards you.
A positioning. So you shoot it from the right side of the foul line, and you try to ricochet it back to where your best guy is. It seems like that would work.
I want to see this happen.
Yeah.
I think you should write a letter. Is there any way you can have a paper in the paperback NBA book? Could you add this chapter?
Well, I was thinking, the reason I was thinking about this was I don't think there's ever been less thought put into something that comes up more times in huge moments in a big game. How many times have we seen a team have to intentionally miss a free throw to get the rebound?
You know what, though? I'm sorry. I just can't say that it's in the same category as the let's dribble the clock out and never have a chance for an offensive rebound final possession. Hey, what do you guys want to run? I don't know. What gives us the least amount of chance of winning and getting a good look? We're like, 1, let's be in a hurry. 2, let's have the ball in the hands of somebody else who doesn't want it. And then 3, let's never leave an opportunity for an offensive rebound. And we're going to see a ton of those in the next couple of days. I can't wait. We should keep track of them.
Where do you stand on Derek Coleman Jr., a.k.a. DeMarcus Cousins?
I'm so scared of him.
Me too.
If your coach is yelling at you and like swearing at you, and it's happened with Calipari numerous times, and the thing that Cousins says as a freshman is like, bleep you right back.
Yeah.
You're a freshman. If you want to have Tude, maybe if you're all conference as a junior, you can go ahead and do it. And Calipari said, hey, you can still yell at the kids, but now we have kids that yell back at us, so it's a different game.
If I had the 4th pick and he's on the board, and obviously you'd have to take him 4, I would have to either trade down or I don't know what. If you're a GM, you can't tie yourself to him.
You've always been a character guy, though.
Huge character guy.
You've been about family values and team building.
He's got a look that I don't like. That's the best way I can put it. He's got a look that it's something about him. It's a guy I don't want on my team. I remember seeing Eddie Curry for the first time and thinking, that guy's got a look I don't like. There's no other way I can put it.
I like that Eddie Curry was like, hey, can we test you for this heart defect to see if it's genetic, if you're going to die? No.
Yeah, stay out of my way.
No, you can't actually.
There is no way that you cannot watch DeMarcus Cousins and not see that this is a guy who has a problem controlling his temper. And you just watched it in the last game. You had Calipari throw him out of a huddle at one point. His body language is just absolutely awful all the time on the court. And at the end, he got cheap shots. He gets cheap shots. He gets a lot of them, actually. And why does he get them? Because players know. It's a little bit like Ron Artest, right? Players know that if you push Ron, he may do something stupid. And so you've got all sorts of players throwing elbows and things at Cousins, trying to get him to go off so he gets a technical. And I don't think that's going to get better as he gets into the league. I think he's got the demeanor a little bit of forget Derek Coleman, because I think Derek Coleman in a little ways was kind of too passive at times. He kind of reminds me of Steve Wallace.
Hey, I haven't talked to you since the John Mayer Playboy interview came out.
Yeah.
Do you feel a little better about Romo and some of his playoff failures after finding out that Jessica Simpson was sexual napalm? I mean, that had to have affected him.
Yeah, of course.
Who knew that this guy was having sex like that?
I was thinking, please don't do a follow-up interview. This is all we need to get embroiled in this. It's funny, I told you I met Tony Romo. He did the Handsome Men's Club video for us.
Right.
Come Alive, and I met him. Super nice guy, and I said to him, I said, listen, I don't care what people tell you. You don't have to pass to Roy Williams anymore. You understand? Don't even look for him. There's no quota. Don't go to him anymore. And he started telling me, he's like, well, you know what? We're going to explore some different avenues. Like, he was totally on board. And then his agent says, don't talk to Cousin Sal about this. He goes on Simmons and blabs to everyone.
He was okay with you naming your younger son middle name after him, right?
Well, you know what's funny about that? My wife says to him, hey, and he was there, Jack Romo. I brought my son, Jack Romo, there to take a picture, and my wife says, are you, what'd she say? She's like, are you freaked out by the fact that people are naming their kids after you? And he's like, no, I'm going to name my own kids after me. Great line, by the way. Perfect.
Tony Romo.
My wife says, my wife's like, oh, okay, because I was worried you thought we might have jinxed you by naming. I'm like, what? Don't say that to him. We jinxed him. Then I have to, follow up. I'm like, no, what jinx? He's great. He's 4,500 yards this year. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. There's no jinx here. Sweetheart, boy, when I get to you later. Oh.
We don't need to do any commentary on the colossal raw deal that Kansas caught with this bracket, because everybody's already kind of talked about it.
But it deserves to be mentioned again, though.
Whitlock's take was the best, which is, the tournament needs Duke in it as long as possible because of what they do in terms of the TV ratings. And since this is a contract year, they're negotiating the new TV deals, Duke gets the easiest bracket. Congratulations.
Whitlock's the greatest.
He's the best. Call him like he sees it.
I've already said he's the master of the derisive nickname.
That's absolutely true.
Roethlisberger was still coming out of the bathroom, and Whitlock was tweeting that he was Pac-Ben. And also Gal Sharpton for Sarah Palin is another classic.
That's a great one.
He's the master. It's going to be his legacy, derisive nicknames.
Yeah.
You're writing a book about the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I still call them the Devil Rays.
You just got fined $1, by the way. Andrew Friedman is going to send you a...
I don't care.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, I don't like name changes. I just, they're the Devil Rays to me. You can't just chop off half of the name. I don't like it.
Well, they changed their name after the 2007 season, and they immediately beat the Yankees, beat the Red Sox, and won the pennant. So there's something going on there. I don't know.
Whatever. AL East. You're friends with Greg Oden. Maybe he can come in and him and his penis can give you an inspirational speech or something. Give the team for the Final Four. You're buddies with him. You've given him crap about that, right?
Honest to God, he changed his number. I heard, and he's not giving it out. And I have no idea what his number even is. I haven't talked to him because I don't know what to say to the guy.
I think you got to break the ice quickly. You got to just break the ice and maybe make the joke and move on.
But he's so heartbroken about it all that I don't
feel
want to.
terrible for him.
So yeah, right away, like I didn't want to. It was a bad time because he really is like really, and like everyone who saw it, we're like, oh Greg, we feel so bad for you. You just showed everyone that you have a huge penis. Oh my God.
The Yankees have to go up to Fenway to open the season, and then they're also there for the last 3 games of the season in October. They open it at Fenway, and then they close the season at Fenway. How is that fair?
Well, doesn't that mean you have, during the middle of the season, you're going to have like 10 straight at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah, but so what? It's about starting it, and suppose they're tied, and it comes down to the final 3 games of the year. They have to open it there. In 2005, after the Red Sox won in 2004, the Yankees opened at Fenway, and they had to sit there and watch the Red Sox get all their rings.
I loved it.
Yeah, how about the same courtesy for the Yankees? Why wouldn't they open at Yankee Stadium?
I got to say, as much as I dislike you, I think that's a very fair question.
I mean, there was a thing on the internet about how the Yankees have the highest average payroll of any sport in the world. They beat Real Madrid or Barcelona or something in soccer. Yeah. They should use some of that money to buy a commissioner next time. That'd be a wiser investment.
Threw him the ball to Greg Oden, and he dunked. He got an and one on Robin. Coming to timeout, we call timeout. Shaq gets mad at Robin. Says a couple curse words. Hey, come on, pick it up, man. And then Robin goes off on Shaq like, hey, if you guys weren't getting beat by 30, I wouldn't have to clean up your mess.
Wow.
and from then on, we've seen a different Robin Lopez.
Tiger's 9-iron quits in the middle of the tournament and sues him for fondling and hires Gloria Allred to represent him.
I like that.
Okay.
That's a good one.
30-1 odds, Jim Nantz makes a Tiger ball washing joke. I don't think it'll happen. But
I feel like you're making these up.
What?
Any real ones?
Let's see. 119.5 over-under text messages from ladies of the night. No, I don't know.
Joe Mead.
Right there.
Joe Mead.
Yes.
What do you think Jim Nantz would say?
I'm not going to get into what I think he'll say.
Oh.
Joe Mead's still trying to figure out a way the Bills can get Donovan McNabb.
We got to work a third team into the deal, Sal.
Don't give up.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. I mean, he's due $12 million this year, and he's not putting up $12 million numbers.
No.
You know who I love though. The thing that I just don't understand is everybody in Boston on the radio and the newspaper and everything is killing Big Papi, and partly that's because I guess he had all the heroics and his fall from grace is more glaring. But the guy who skates under the radar, and I'll never understand, is J.D. Drew. I mean, J.D. Drew makes $14 million as a corner outfielder, and he's hitting 136. He's never had over 70 RBIs for the Red Sox, and somehow people go down in their basement on their computer and come up with these stats that show that he's really underpaid.
Did you just use the basement?
I did.
What, are you trying to anger people?
Yeah, I'm just on a roll here.
Come on, Johnny.
I've now locked it in that Javier Vasquez will give up some record for runs tonight.
I'm looking up this J.D. Drew stat because I don't believe it. 64. Oh, you're right. He's never had more than 70 RBI. But RBI don't matter. We've proven that RBI don't matter.
That's right. You don't want somebody that knocks in runs from a run-producing position.
It's all luck, Johnny.
That's right.
RBI is a factor of who got on base before you. It actually means nothing. His OPS is fantastic.
The Red Sox not only have emphasized stats, but they now have a system where they make up their own stats that they consider important.
Well, I'm just saying, people have proven that RBI is a useless stat.
RBIs are useless, and stolen bases against you are useless. It's okay if people just circle the bases like Cal Crawford. It's fun.
We gotta create some sort of intro for you as cranky old baseball fan. Maybe some song. He hates sabermetrics. He loves RBI. No, I mean, RBI really it comes down to who's batting in front of you.
Well, that's true to a degree, but it's still, I mean, it's reflective of some clutch hitting or timely hitting, certainly. Doing it with runners in scoring position when the pitcher bears down, that bears something out, I think.
I mean, I can't disagree, but we have stats to show that JD is runners in scoring position. Well, 167 this year, 1 out of 6. That's some trouble. Let's check out last year, though. That was a pretty small sample size. Scoring position. Well, 213 last year. Not great. Some trouble, Johnny. Scoring position, 2 outs, 280. 1.13 OPS, though.
Yeah, that's what everybody goes crazy about. He's got a wonderful OPS. He's worth $14 million. Give me a break. He stinks.
Cranky old baseball fan, Jacko.
I am. I'm old school.
Say something to the fans of Portland that talks them off the ledge.
Jump. I think he was trying to rein in his happiness. I think he's extremely happy that he's moving to Miami and he's playing with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Pat Riley after Pat Riley has Eric Spoelstra. Go on a Fredo boat ride, which that's going to happen. But I think he was happy, and I think he was reining himself in, and I think this guy now gets to play in South Beach. And I thought that was interesting that that's how he announced it. I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
What a great sentence. Oh, my God, what a great sentence.
I had a reader say that should be the new euphemism for masturbation. Where were you? I was just taking my talents to South Beach because last night was all about masturbation.
I got to go in a couple minutes, but I always have time for House.
The 3-man pod.
All right.
Joe House.
Joe House, it's a menage a pod.
Oh, no.
What's up, baby?
Jacko.
How are you, buddy?
I got to confess to you boys. I'm actually a little tired right now. I just got done taking my talents to South Beach.
In the men's room at your office?
A little spent. Here in Washington, D.C.
Because normally you have the draft, and then you got July 4th weekend, and people try to talk themselves into watching a couple Wimbledon matches. They don't totally take.
I have never even tried to talk myself into that.
And then, in the past we had home run derby and stuff like that, but nobody cares about home run derby anymore because nobody's on steroids.
I think that's about right. I think that's right. I think Trufant was the only guy I was on the fence with, and I just really couldn't come in with it. And I think Pete Carroll will get that team turned around, and I think they'll be much better this year. And I think next year they'll be in the 50s.
Well, the problem with Pete is that everyone in the NFL pays players. So he no longer has that advantage.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at... Wow, is that your cell phone?
The Godfather theme? Yeah, absolutely. Don't you love it? I had to change it. It was the Sopranos theme, but I work for Showtime, so I had to take care of that.
Smart move.
So now,
go play with it for like 45 minutes. I know. I'm doing over-unders. All right.
Joe, let's keep that. That was a good father-son moment.
That was really good parenting there, yeah.
Hit him with a newspaper.
You try to tell a kid you're going to be doing over-unders and on the phone, but they just don't care.
He should know. He's 5 now. He should understand how important this is.
They go through simulated plays for 45 minutes and then do like 5 sprints and it's over. And it makes me hate Brett Favre more. But it really does. Like, what is this prima donna crying about? This is fun out there. They're all smiling out there. But anyway, that has nothing to do with the cow.
I have a question for you. Every year that you've gone to the training camp in Oxnard, you come away saying you're never going to go again, and then a year later you go again.
I know. Well, they keep giving me the press pass. I'll do something dumb. I'll run naked one year, and that'll be the end of that. Is it Corolla? It's got to be Corolla, right?
He's dropping F-bombs left, right, left, right. It's I don't totally understand it. I might have to have an F-bomb intervention. Some people might want to listen to that at work with a kid in a car seat. Got to account for those people.
When you're discussing such hot topics as which mustard to put on a turkey sandwich, you can't help but to become so passionate to lose your mind with 4-letter words, right? I get in the first position, as you know, you can nominate a player.
Yeah.
I've been nominating Adrian Peterson, but not the Vikings Adrian Peterson, the 4th-string running back for the Seahawks. And people go crazy bidding on him because they see his face and they see Adrian Peterson and they just like. And the next thing you know, someone spent like $31 on, the Seahawks, Adrian Peterson. And I've had death threats, and people said I've ruined their day, and they're going to find me and kill me. And I want to apologize. It's juvenile what I did there, but I recommend it.
There's no way you're apologizing. You love it. And somehow Indianapolis, who never has depth, has been able to avoid that problem for years and years and years and years, which I've never totally understood because they make their team top heavy, Christine Hendricks style.
I was talking to my buddy, Cowboys fan, he was reading that their Tuesday and Wednesday practice was so bad, Keith Brooking called the team meeting and said, "Hey, that was awful. Those are 2 of the worst practices I've ever seen." And then Wade Phillips was interviewed afterwards, and he said, "Well, it's good that Keith is being a team leader, but it really is hot out there."
Ah, Jesus.
What? What is going on? You called me or texted me during the week and said we have to bet San Fran to win the NFC West. They have such an easy slate.
I didn't say we have to. I said, should we? And then we decided, let's make sure that they don't lose to KC this week.
Hold on. You didn't say hold on. I have it on tape. Hold on. Let me play it back.
We have to bet San Francisco to win the division. Gotta do it.
That's not you?
Is Austin Collie potentially the best wide receiver since Fred Biletnikoff?
Wow.
I'm throwing that out there. How about that?
Interesting.
He's going to end up. Obviously he's not going to continue to get 150 yards a game, but
yeah.
When was the last time a white guy had 1,500 yards receiving? I'm sure it's happened. I just, off the top of my head, can't remember it.
I don't see black, white like you, Bill. If a guy's a good player. But, Oakland's good. They shut down Fitzgerald. You had Fitzgerald against me, and he did nothing the whole game. They could do that to Houston, too.
Nasamadu Aksamanga shut him down.
That's right.
Tell me, did I get that right? Nasengat Nasamadu? Whatever his name is.
Nnamdi Asomugha?
Nnamdi Asomugha.
Yeah, you got it, Bill.
And so they're doing, I don't think they showed this on TV, right?
No.
So they go through and everybody's cheered. LT gets cheered. Lord Taylor on trial for rape. Huge ovation. And goes through. Jesse Armstead gets a huge ovation. Tiki Barber, just deafening boos. Deafening. And then they cut to him on the Jumbotron and raises the hand. He just couldn't. It was one of the most awkward experiences I've ever had at a sporting event.
And Tiki had to know it was coming to a point where I was thinking he should just give his twin brother, $40,000. Say, listen, I don't want to show up to this. This means nothing to you if they start booing. So why don't you just take this? Take a bullet from me, brother, and go in there for me. I don't want to have to go through this. I can't watch these games. Are you really able to watch top of the third, bottom of the third?
Nah.
What comes after bottom of the top of the fourth? And I hate when people say, "Oh, baseball's garbage." I mean, it's a pure great game, but maybe it is time to take a page out of the NFL's book and move to an 18-game schedule.
That would be interesting.
Why does Pittsburgh get 3 night games in a row?
Roethlisberger, sex sells.
They knew right away when he comes back.
But you also forgot the trap game part of Colts Jets, and then in the middle of this is this little random
trap game.
Oh, stop it!
There is
there's a trap game. That's why we lost to the Browns.
That's not a trap game. That's an upset. It happens.
It's a trap game.
It's when you win a trap game, you go, oh, we'll win. And when you lose a trap game, you go, oh, trap game. There's no such thing as a trap game. Losses happen. They happen. Even great teams get upset occasionally, and that's what happened with the Browns. And it's not a trap game per se. They lost.
We disagree. Because I think it's more of a mentality is that we have this game coming up. Well, let's get through that game, and that's the big game. And you can't overlook games.
Even if you believed in that kind of thing.
I do.
Wouldn't you think a Belichick team would be immune because they all drink the Kool-Aid of one game at a time?
I think if we played the Browns in normal situations, normal scenario, 10 times in Cleveland, win 8.
Sammy Morris doesn't bobble a kickoff. I mean, come on, man. That game just was the kind of game where a couple of weird things happen early, and then it gets away from you, and then all of a sudden the other team's just outplaying you. And it happens. It happens to everybody. It happens to the Colts against Jacksonville. It happens it happens.
That was a trap game.
You
hate trap games.
A division game can't be a trap game. It's a division game.
You hate trap games.
There is no such thing as a trap game. It just happens that sometimes you lose.
And you have a trap game. If you can kind of figure out who's going to be better than people think and who's going to be worse than people think before the season, and you just ride that sentiment both ways, you're going to win money.
Well, what an amazing thing you just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you could figure out who's going to be good against the spread, you can win money.
Hey, listen, that's why I'm here.
Wow.
But I mean,
you should have saved that for the column because I need to see that print and stare at it for a while. They should. Maybe this has been covered before, but the Rusty Smith is a terrible quarterback name.
It really
Smith seems to be a bad name for a quarterback, a last name. But Rusty, change it to Trusty, or even Krusty is better. But if you change it to Trusty, I think your teammates start taking you seriously.
Purdue pulled down the 6.7. And then Kukoc with 5.4. You weren't really helping out. You only had 1.5.
1.5.
Apparently, you didn't realize your team needed rebounds. You stayed in the perimeter.
I was boxing everybody else out.
You're like Joel Anthony. That's what they say about Joel Anthony. What a good box outer he is.
Who would you rather hang out with? The guy who screams law firm after every Green Ellis carry, or the guy who screams Matty Ice after every Matt Ryan completion?
The Matty Ice thing. He's got to have a Matty Ice moment that I can remember before he's Matty Ice.
I hate it. I think it's so obnoxious. At least the law firm thing, like, even though the guy next to you who's screaming it had nothing to do with making up the clever part of law firm, at least a nugget of that. And Matty Ice is just, kill me right now. Collinsworth said it, and then I heard it like twice since with the, say what you will about Ben Roethlisberger as a person.
I know, that's a tough one.
And then, like, all right, I don't need to be reminded that they're two separate things as a player. And say what you will. Say what you will about OJ's crazy killing fetish, but the guy never is late for a dental appointment. He's a great player, but...
Yeah. Say what you will is a tough one. The ending is never going to be good for that sentence.
Yeah, like, Collinsworth has given me permission to say what I will about Ben Roethlisberger.
Buy my paperback, Bill Simmons' Big Book of Basketball, just like the hardcover. Only difference is I switched Arvydas Sabonis from number 196 to number 187. Now give me a paycheck.
That's it.
I was hammered when I left that. Do you know Favre's streak ended last night?
What?
Yeah, 297. He's done.
That is amazing.
The guy's retiring in 4 days. Who cares? The streak was going to end 4 weeks from now. People acted like this was Lou Gehrig.
Oh, my God.
297. Great, enough.
Bill, we need to put that into perspective. Before yesterday, Favre had been threatening to not play and then miraculously figured a way to take the field every game since 1992.
Yeah. Favre had been killing his team by playing when he shouldn't have for 7 straight weeks in a row.
Right. 297 consecutive Thursday press conferences where he declared himself ineligible before springing back to life miraculously. My hat goes off to him.
Enough with this guy. God.
Good job, Billy.
Good job. Before we go, we'd be remiss if we didn't call America's favorite Yankee fan. He's sitting at work right now. I know he's stewing, and he's reading Red Sox websites and just getting mad about everything that's happened, losing Cliff Lee, Crawford, Gonzalez. He's in a funk right now, so naturally that's the best time to have him on the podcast. He's going to be in the Subway Fresh Take hotline right now, calling him at work. Jacko.
Complex litigation, this is John.
Oh, Johnny!
Are you calling to gauge my excitement about the Russell Martin era? Well, I'm all fired up. I'm just trying to find what jersey number he's going to wear so I can buy that.
Anytime you could add a washed-up catcher and a washed-up shortstop, and that's your winter arsenal, you got to do it. Congratulations.
I take umbrage at the washed-up shortstop, but yeah, washed-up catcher, I'll second that emotion, yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. There's too many wins in that conference, in that division.
Wow, Indy-Baltimore would be just a spectacular round.
Yeah, that's fun.
Even your dog's excited for that
dog.
one.
Now we start our Michael Vick talk. Yeah, because I said 6.5, and it's 3.5.
Yeah.
You win that one.
Yeah, those games are always feisty, and the crowd always shows up for that.
Doesn't that seem low? This team has 10 wins.
If your wife left you and moved somewhere else, and then once a year she came back and you had to hang out with her, you'd have your game face on.
I guess so.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sure I'm going to have to utilize that at some point.
Talking about that yesterday, there should be videotape of some of the Jets players reacting. Just kind of talking about this story would be one of the funniest hidden tapes that you could hear.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't really like the story because it just made me feel bad for him and his wife, and I just thought it was embarrassing and whatever. But it did open up that whole foot fetish world that I'd never really thought about. And you watch those videos, and I just don't get it. It just eludes me.
I know. And I think he's mad about it. Well, first of all, he hasn't even admitted it's him, but he should, right? Otherwise, it's another guy with his wife.
If it's not you, it's another dude.
Yeah, so just say it's you. But He'll be doing a Lamisel ad in 6 months, and he'll be making a joke of it, I'm sure.
The move in these situations, hammered home time and time again, is just to admit that you did it and it's over.
Yeah. What section of the move? I like the move in this situation we're talking about. Is there a handbook on how to handle the foot fetish claims?
I don't know.
What's the move in this situation?
I think whatever his move is now becomes the move.
Yeah.
This line should be 3.5, but it's going to be Giants by 4.
All right. Well, you get it anyway. It is 3.5. I said 4.5. So you get this. I'd stay away from this. I don't know.
I like the Redskins.
I don't love Rex Grossman. I don't understand what he's doing, how he's doing it out there. But, yeah.
I said this to you yesterday. This McNabb thing is Drew Bledsoe all over again.
Right.
Where it seems improbable that he got benched. Oh, my God, they benched him. And then he might never start another game, and we'll look back and be like, man, that was weird. His kid, all of a sudden, he just never played anymore.
Are you crying? What's going on?
Yeah.
Getting very upset over Drew Bledsoe.
You know, my thing with LeBron is I think he's really trying to woo Kevin Love because, you know, I don't think it was accidental that he mentioned Kevin Love in that.
Oh, interesting.
And then remember how when Kevin Love had a 30-30 game, LeBron was tweeting like, man, you know, shout out to Kevin Love. Like, have you seen him do that for anybody else this year?